Hey everyone, I'm Coach Wolverine,
Coach Colonna here.
and this is a conversation over drinks. And a pattern that has been coming up in both of our lives recently is breaking procrastination cycles at the root or at their core. Where has this shown up in your life?
I mean, like historically, everywhere. But more recently, I think I really started to recognize the anxiety that I have that comes with the procrastination.
Right? Yeah. And we do it on purpose for ourselves.
It would make it so much worse. And then to the point, it's actually prompted me to do some reading. Basically, in short, if we allow it to keep happening, we need ourselves to be anxious to get anything done.
It's funny how that works. It's the chemical aspect of the brain because we're running on that
routine.
Yeah, the dopamine and the cortisol high that comes with it, right? It's like perpetually living a perpetually stressed life at all times just to go, right? Where coffee no longer works.
And I think mine, like, I've been on both sides. I've been on the super stress side with like previous employment, relationships, all that type of stuff. But I think for me, the funny thing is now I'm at the point where I have more control over my schedule and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I actually need to be careful that I don't give myself too much time.
Fair, yeah.
Because then I run into what I used to run into with like semester projects in school, where it's the 6 weeks to do a project and I get it done in 3 days before it's due.
Yeah. Yeah, have you trained yourself to be more productive by doing that?
It's coming.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to say it's perfect by any stretch. I go hot and cold streaks.
But so from having that habit back in high school, did you just learn that you work better under pressure? Did you instill that into yourself?
See, that's the excuse. And like, I know so many people that have said that all the way through college or whatever. Like, I work great under pressure. It's like, well, no, you don't. You just get it done. Like, you find a way to get it done.
That's it right there. We just find a way. We take a bet on ourselves. It's like, I got 3 days to get this thing I had a half a year to do. Take a bet on ourselves, 3 all-nighters, whatever it takes, all the coffee in the world. But we find a way, as opposed to just finding the way six months ago, right?
I think the first time, so it was my final year of school before I actually wrote a paper early enough for me to send it in, get it edited, do all this stuff. Part of that's because school was always somewhat not that difficult. Mm-hmm. But when I did that, it was the best paper I ever wrote and all that stuff, and literally all I had to do was just stop waiting to do it. So if you want a lesson learned at some point.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, just start doing it. And even if you get it all done weeks earlier and it sucks, it's and 90% of it's done. Now it's just tweaks and edits and everything. And that's the same for our habits, our routines, and our big tasks that we have to get done. I know seasonally there's a lot of stuff. What did I do recently? I guess for me to go get stuff done on my car, I always head back to Golden and we do it at the shop. I get to spend some time with family and everything too, but went and put the winter tires on in September, beginning of September, way before snow was even coming. So did the oil change, did the fluids, whole thing, everything done, and now it's snowing and everyone's freaking out because they don't have their tires on yet, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, that was part of what was on my plate this week, was the whole not being prepped for winter because I was not expecting the foot of snow dump overnight, and so getting tires on the girlfriend's vehicle, and I need a new battery for my Jeep.
And she drives a lot.
She does, and that's why I'm she lives in Blackfalds, right? And so I'm like, I don't feel great about you being on the highway with those garbage winter boots on your Jeep.
Absolutely.
So, that was the hustle, and got it sorted, fortunately. But yeah, I realized this week that I always do this to myself, but it's because I have taught myself I work better under pressure. And you're right, no, I don't. Because when we're under pressure, our creativity can't run freely, and then we just get hard on ourselves.
I cut corners.
That's that exactly, and then it's that cycle of being angry at ourselves because we did it again, and then as soon as we just start taking some things off that plate, all of a sudden it's you take 2 things that were very minor to do, we just work them up in our brain to be bigger than they actually were. And also all of a sudden half the weight of the world is off your shoulders, and it's wow, I didn't really do a whole lot, I just did it. Right? But I know about myself, my brain will categorize everything that needs to get done as the same level of importance, whether or not it's getting the floor swept or whether or not it's doing some mechanical work on my Jeep. It is the exact same importance in my brain. So if it's on my to-do list, it's very hard for me to be like, okay, which do I need to get done? Because all of this stuff has to get done today. Whatever doesn't get done today can get done tomorrow.
Your brain is stressing me out.
It does. My brain stresses me out. It's very tiring up here. Yep, absolutely. And but at its roots, right? It's through self-exploration and through what I have discovered is a lot of procrastination is rooted in a self-worth thing. We don't believe that we are deserving of having whatever project that we have or whatever thing to do done. That we aren't living to be that type of person to have it done.
And I know we talked about, like, to hark it back to our, like, dirty laundry one when I kind of talked about how I went and organized everything and all that. It's not something I would have done typically. Like, when I was when mentally was in a worse state or, like, self-value was lower, I wouldn't have cared about the place. I would have lived out of boxes for a while because, like, who cares? Yeah. Right? It's the same concept, like, just taking care of yourself, like, not necessarily be put together 100% all the time, but there's a level of, right? Like, are you just in a sweatsuit 24 hours a day and the same one for 4 days? Or, like, like, where you don't have to get to the nines or anything, right? But, like, when you walk out in the morning, like, typically, I've told you before, right? Like, I'm in a sweater, this is my comfortable, and this is yours. So, like, this is how we want to express ourselves and how we feel. So that's a big thing, but, like, doing that with confidence is huge, and that doesn't come from a place with no self-worth.
No. So it literally trickles into everything. And another thing that I've learned that also aids into the procrastination thing is when we say that we're going to do something at a certain time and then we don't, we subconsciously teach ourselves that we can't trust ourselves.
Okay, so to bring that to, like, accountability, right? In a sense, when we have little things to do, like me folding my laundry, there's no person on the planet that's going to hold me accountable to that but myself. No. So, like, something like that doesn't matter. But when we start looking at bigger things, I don't know. Have you ever looked at the stats behind getting things done in regards to accountability? Like how?
Not specifically.
So roughly, like, they say 90% more adherence when you tell someone you're going to do something and you set a time to follow up with them. So with us, right, with coaching, like, we have our weekly meetings or we do whatever, it's like, hey, we're going to discuss the 3 things we talked about this week, next week, on Wednesday at 7. It's a 90% uptick in things getting done just for telling someone and setting a meeting. Never mind the discipline that comes with it. So, like,
there's also a higher probability it's going to get done. I don't know the actual stats, but I just know through the productivity habits if that time frame is set closer. Right, because it's like if you give yourself 30 days to clean your room, it's going to take you 30 days. If you give yourself 3 hours, it's only going to take you 3 hours. So when's the last time that you noticed then the also not so kind relative of procrastination that feeds into procrastination of busy work? When was the last time you created busy work when you knew that there was something you probably should have been doing, but you thought this was so much more important?
So for me, I guess busy work has never really been a big problem. It's literally just been procrastination and, like, I'll just do it later. And it's not like I'm justifying it by doing something else. It's like I'm just doing basically nothing. That's worse in essence, but I don't typically go and find things to over-justify not doing other stuff. And for me, it's become a lot more of, like, I just have to beat the anxiety to it. Like, if I think about doing it and I go do it, I have no time to get anxious about it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not a big deal. And that comes right down to, like, conversations I don't want to have, phone calls I don't want to make. Those types of things, just kind of get them done. And there's no busy work in between. I don't have a need to be busy, I guess, and I've witnessed that in other people that, like, if they're not doing something 24 hours a day, they feel like they're not getting anything done.
Also rooted in a self-worth thing.
But if they only have 3 things they need to get done that day and they do all 3 of them, the rest of their day does not need to be busy. They've already told themselves that they've got their 3 things, they did it, and that's all they need. They had to get done. So then why do they all of a sudden have 50 other things?
Well, there's a few things. From my experience, it was either A, I didn't feel like that I had enough worth as a person, so I had to be doing something to add value to somebody else's life. Creating busy work also creates distractions from other things going on up in here, so I'm not thinking about or confronting those demons. And then, doing the busy work gives me an excuse to push off whatever I'm procrastinating. So these are all things that, like, I will full on admit I have worked on, still work on, much better than I was. That's for damn sure.
Me too.
But it is a struggle, and I empathize anybody that deals with this. And then I know a lot of people are going to sit there and be like, "Well, this isn't true. That's not me." Absolutely, it is.
I don't think by root of who we are, like as people, right? We've talked about it before. The path of least resistance is going to come into play all the time, and least resistance when it comes to things that we don't want to do is to just do something else.
Yeah. Whether
Whether it's nothing, like me, or finding other stuff to like over justify, right? Like, it's going to be a part of everybody's everything. Mm-hmm. So it's a constant struggle. It's not like you perfect being productive. You come up with routines and habits and things to learn how not to procrastinate, right? You can listen to all the huge influencers and stuff. They all have some sort of routine, some mantra or something they tell themselves. And then once you get to a point and you really establish like what your purpose in your day is, your automatic is going to start being there. But it's a constant work. No one's going to wake up and be like, I just get shit done.
Everyone's got a tool. So on that, like, if you could give, what is one example or what is one tool that you use to overcome procrastination and keep things off of your plate?
I shortlist everything. So the whiteboard at home, maximum 3 big things and 2 like little ones, and they typically are listed in order of priority.
Cool.
So
I like to think that if I see something that, because my brain categorizes everything as the same size, if I see something that needs to get done and it's going to take me less than 2 minutes, I do it right that second.
immediately, yeah.
Yeah. But that's it for me on today.
That's it, yeah. So if you got laundry to do, dishes to do, anything to do, if you just do it, they're not there anymore. So that, and then you can carry that over to everything else. So just get it done.
Yeah, we do this to ourselves, guys. We have no one to blame but ourselves. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, subscribe on whatever platform you guys are consuming this content on. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
And I hope you get stuff done.
Cheers.
See ya.